Map of Golden Echoes. In the Cortana house, every morning felt like the start of a grand adventure. 7-year-old Jo was the chief explorer of her world. Her father, Saul, was a transportation executive who knew exactly how cities moved and breathed. Together, they sat at the kitchen table to study their neighborhood map. "A great explorer always plans her route," Saul said, tracing the winding sidewalks that led toward Jo's school. Jo's mother, Mary Ellen, owned a wonderful hobby store on Lawrence Avenue. She believed that the best memories were like golden echoes, sounds and feelings that stayed with you forever. "Listen to the city as you walk, Jo," she said, giving her daughter a gentle hug before she left for the shop. "The sounds of the street will guide you just as much as the lines on the map." The journey began right at the front step. Jo and Saul stepped onto the smooth, gray sidewalk. Jo loved the way her sneakers sounded on the concrete, a steady tap, tap, tap that followed her like a drumbeat. They walked past tall trees and tidy gardens, staying safely on the path and away from the road. "The sidewalk is your safe harbor, Jo," Saul reminded her as they marched along together. Soon, they reached the busiest part of the trip, Lawrence Avenue. The street was wide, and the cars zoomed past like colorful streaks of light. Jo looked up at the tall traffic light, waiting for it to speak to them. She watched it change from red to yellow, and finally to a bright, glowing green. "The green light is our permission to move," Saul said, holding her hand firmly. At the crosswalk, they met Officer Hayes, the crossing guard. He wore a bright vest that shimmered in the sun and held a tall, red stop sign. Officer Hayes gave a sharp, cheerful whistle and held the sign high, making all the big trucks and cars come to a halt. "Go ahead, Explorer Jo," he called out with a friendly wink. Jo stepped onto the white painted stripes, feeling brave and tall. At last, they reached the school. It was a special place with no heavy gates or fences. It simply opened up into a vast, smooth playground made of gray concrete. It was a space that belonged to all the children in the neighborhood. Saul gave Jo a high five at the edge of the yard. "You navigated perfectly, Jo. The school is yours." Jo looked at the wide open space, ready for her next mission. When recess arrived, the concrete playground became a kingdom of games. Jo found her friend Kalea standing near a set of painted white lines. "Ready for Foursquare, Jo?" Kalea asked, bouncing a bright red ball. Jo stepped into her square, her sneakers gripping the hard ground. They spent the hour laughing as the ball echoed off the concrete, a rhythmic sound that Jo added to her mental map. After school, Jo made a special stop at her mom's hobby store on Lawrence Avenue. She peered through the big glass window and saw Mary Ellen helping a customer with a model train. Mary Ellen looked up and blew her a kiss through the glass. The shop was a treasure chest of tiny parts and big dreams, and seeing her mom there made the busy street feel as cozy as their living room. Back at home that evening, Jo sat with Saul to review their morning journey. Jo traced the path they had taken with her finger, remembering the whistle of the crossing guard and the bounce of the red ball. "I remembered every turn and every light, Dad," Jo said proudly. Saul smiled and nodded. "Those memories are your true map, Jo. They are the echoes of a day well spent." That night, Jo lay in bed as the soft sounds of Lawrence Avenue drifted through her window. She realized that her life was special because of these small, daily travels. Each traffic light, each wave from Officer Hayes, and each game on the open playground was a golden echo in her heart. She closed her eyes, grateful for her family and the wonderful adventures that waited for her tomorrow.